Chapter 2. We're standing on a thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used, but not old. There's small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they're running on emergency power. The dim lights are a blessing, but the size of this place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe? Hey, Dennis, what do you think this is? Looks like we're waiting for the D train, Dennis says with a deadly sounding cackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself. But I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. Yeah, we'll be fine, I say to him. We're too far in to go back. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. Makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this and that we'll be wandering around for hours. Suddenly I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Do you hear something? I ask Dennis, eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says, maybe. It kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So, these are our options. To the left are flickering lights indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness. But we heard footsteps in that direction. I think we need to go and find those footsteps. We go right. If there's anyone here, they're worth speaking to. As we leave the glow of electric lights, things instantly start to feel a bit more sinister. I look at Dennis's injuries again. The gash along his side is inflamed now, and while the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that has soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. You okay to keep going? Yeah, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep, dark tunnel that has no business being here. He's right, the darkness we find ourselves in feels thick, like walking in syrup. I'm reminded of the fear I felt as a child when I had to go into the basement to fetch tools for my dad. I was sure there were snakes or spiders or monsters of unimaginable horror lurking down there. I feel that way here, walking through this tunnel. That's when I see a human figure far back in the tunnel, silhouetted in the faint light at the end. He's standing on some other platform up ahead and likely can't see us. It looks like he might be holding a gun, but it's too dark to be sure. And I'm not shouting out until I know more. I'm going to stay quiet. This person could be dangerous. Dennis, I whisper. Don't move, be quiet. We both watch as the figure looks back and forth down the tunnel. It's unclear if he's looking for something, or if he's just as lost as we are. But he can't see us in the dark, and after a moment the figure rushes away through a door. Why didn't you say anything? Dennis asks with a disgusted tone. Maybe we could have gotten some answers. I don't want to reveal ourselves to anyone who looks like they might have a gun until I know more about where we are, I reply. We head further into the tunnel. and then reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they're dim red emergency lights. Start to wonder if that explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place. Whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we came to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We've stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that's buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we've walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident though. We reach the large opening and have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that's bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. "You know what?" Dennis says. "This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further." So, on top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. I'm just like, get it together, mate. Just pull it together, Dennis. I'm ashamed that I'm getting irritated with him. "Oh, you think I'm just relaxing here?" he asks sarcastically. "Sorry if I'm slowing your progress. Great plan you got here, by the way." His response makes my blood boil. I don't need this shit from him right now, that's for sure. I take a deep breath and I help him up slowly. I need to calm down. I can't stand the guilt anymore. A sappy apology comes out of my mouth before I can clamp my lips down against it. "Look, I'm sorry I lost my temper," I say. "It was uncalled for, but I'm under some stress here, as I'm sure you can understand." He hesitates for a moment and I'm sure that he'll ignore me, but he surprises me. "I get it," he says. "Apology accepted, and I'm sorry I was being a jerk." Apparently bleeding out makes me kind of high-strung. Dennis is always high-strung and about 2 harsh words away from trading punches with someone, but I keep that to myself. We exchange an awkward look and put it behind us. It is no different than some argument we might have had on the job site or over a few beers. One thing's for sure, I'd much rather be arguing with him over a few beers than here, in this nightmare. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us there's an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realise these red emergency lights might be on for someone else who is actually supposed to be here, like that guy I saw earlier, standing on the platform. I'm still not keen to yell out until I know more though. I'm going to stay quiet. I don't want to alert anyone to the fact that they're strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is just too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind's racing. What sort of place is this? It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone's been evacuated. But then, why was that one person still here? This does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean, tidy area I've seen since coming in the woods. It looks like it's recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and there's a small flashing red light along the ceiling, which seems to flash along with it. That noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that's been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise, and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. One door opens onto a large room, looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask, as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the other side of the road. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. I think I'm going to check the conference room. A large table sits in the middle of the room, lined with a series of chairs. It looks like something straight out of a showroom. There's a well-used whiteboard that hangs on the wall, and there's scattered papers on the desk. I walk over and look at the whiteboard on the wall. There's a few things scribbled on there, mostly formulas and names, but there's some stuff that's easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both. Okay. Ideas for new delivery mode. Spherical, liquid, question mark. Induced comatose state first. What the hell? TerraCore Co. equals possible plutonium supply. What the hell are they doing here? I wander over and look at the papers on the table. Most of them are printouts that have got codes and equations that, well, they go way over my head. But there's also some handwritten notes that don't make me feel any better about our situation. I read through them and see some scrawled notes that say things like, last experiment failed, overdose before transport. What? Levels indicate cellular catabolism? The hell's a catabolism when it's about? Question mark, question mark, question mark. More lead shielding in export suits. Question mark, question mark. Measurements make no sense. Let Barksdale know about possible Higgs field fix. What the hell is this stuff? Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I'm wondering if he lives down here. He's got the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little bit too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I trust with a gun in a stressful situation. He sees us in the doorway, screams and brings the gun up. It's aimed directly at my head. Dennis jumps up and stands next to me like he's ready to run for it. I recognise him by his height and build. He's the person I could barely see back in that dark tunnel. I slowly put my hands up in the air, trying to calm the situation, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because it feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. I recognise you. You stomped around and set off the security mics in the entrance. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He's scared, but there's something else. Look, mate, we're just loggers. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, bullshit. But for some reason I'm pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation, I think to myself. If only I had left that damn ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. He might have answers, but I'm not telling him anything just yet. No, there's just us, I say. He looks me up and down, trying to tell if I'm lying. What happened before you came here? He asks. No clue, I say. I open my eyes on the ground and I don't remember anything. The last thing I remember was fueling up my power saw, and then I was on my arse. We could hear the alarm from where we were, and there was a flash of white light, Dennis adds, like a bubble coming up out of the ground. But how do you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is levelled less than a foot away from my face. He's not put it down yet, and I'm not happy about that. I make a grab for his gun. He looks like he might laugh at any request, and it's this arrogance that makes me crack and once again rely on my instincts. I reach out quickly, slapping the gun barrel away. I then reach for it and nearly have a grip on it when the man jerks to the left. My ballsy move startles him, but not nearly enough. He brings the butt of the rifle around like a javelin. It catches me on the right side of the head. The blow knocks off my hard hat and sends it skidding across the floor. With a flare of pain in my head, I manage to stay on one knee. I raise my hands quickly in surrender, letting him know that I'm aware that I have made a grievous error. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. I get up and step between Dennis and the gun. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, the barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we're here by mistake. Well, you've no business here, the man says. But now that the power's on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and, honestly, makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You arseholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is he joking? No. What the hell are you talking about? No, I say. Look, we're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Yeah, likely story, the man says. But I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. Again, he thrusts the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I've no guarantee he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then, in a movement so fast I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I've got no idea how he's moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving like lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realise I've not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralysed, in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall I could use as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. I'm just going to punch the man instead. Dennis has him pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I'd come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard, and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilised, and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he's basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. I have to stand up and step back, otherwise I'll kill him. He's definitely out now. He's not a threat. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. I knew I should have punched the crap out of him. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with shaking hands. "I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun," Dennis says. "He could have killed you." "Yeah, I was pretty sure he wouldn't," I say, although I'd known no such thing. "Still, thanks man, that was some heroic stuff." "Look, you'd have done the same, right?" Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. "What do we do now, boss?" Dennis asks. We've come this far and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I walk over and pick up my hat off the floor. After placing it on my head, I turn towards the man. "We get answers from this guy." "No answers," the man says. "I don't have any." "Next time, I won't just hit you," I say, plunging the rifle towards him. "Now get up." He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. "Okay, let's move," I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us, its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. "What's your name?" I ask. "Marcus." "And you work here?" It's clear he doesn't want to answer, but he gives a little nod. "Look, we're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be?" I ask. "No," he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. "There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for him." "I need a first aid kit for my friend here," I say. "Where might I find one?" "Down on the 2nd floor," he says. "But we can't go down there." "Okay, what's on level 2 then?" He looks at me like I'm an idiot. "You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility," he says. Don't make any sense. I want to doubt it. "Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend. So take me to the first aid kit." "I can't," he says. "You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance." Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, "Yeah, I'll make this place run." Not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a friggin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. "We're going to that first aid kit." "I could lose my job," he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it'd be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. After kicking me in the face, I'm going to threaten him. I place the rifle to his head. I know I don't have it in me to pull the trigger, but I've got no problem holding it there. It's going to be your job or your life, I say. My swollen eye from where he kicked me isn't making me feel exactly generous. He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. This is a felony, he says, but I can tell he's not going to fight me anymore. Good, now take us to the second level. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I'm half expecting the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with the options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like the elevator doesn't go to the service. So, after we get a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here? I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once that power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? Nope, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the space. So, we can't get out of here. What can you do? Marcus bristles at the question, but I think it's fair. I mean, he's not allowed to unlock the doors, or even get medical supplies. Why keep a guy around who can't even grab a band-aid without permission? Without me, nothing would get done here, Marcus answers me. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. Okay, so what goes on here then? Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me, I can't tell you. Yeah, why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean, I ask, getting irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. Okay, well, how big is this place? It's a government facility of the highest secrecy, Marcus says. A research facility. It goes 4 stories underground, and quite frankly, scares the piss out of me that you two got in here so easily. Oh yeah, why's that? I ask. This is a Black Ops graveyard, he replies. Even the CIA doesn't know this place exists. Okay. So, we've got him talking. What knocked the lights out? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then... Then what? Dennis asks. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I ask. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened and everything went dead. Took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting into the security cameras going, and they lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw? What? I ask, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. A I think, whatever it is, it's still down here. Hang on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place. Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place. Just in case, you know? Really? Just in case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns in emergency vaults in every single room? End of chapter 2.